Hey everybody, if you enjoy the podcast and the content it provides, be sure to hop over and check out the community. The community is an exclusive members website that is just an extension of what we do here in July at the Central Virginia Sport Performance Seminar. What it is a combination of video lectures, a coach's corner with your Monday morning take-home information, and a forum where you can talk about anything and everything related to the field of strength and conditioning. In the community, you'll find content added each month from some of the top practitioners in the world, ranging from PhDs to high level coaches, bringing you exactly what they're doing with their athletes or their research at the present moment. On top of that, an additional discussion by coaches bringing you that Monday morning information, things that you can add to your training program right away. Tying that in with the opportunity to discuss with coaches around the world in the forum on anything and everything from the topics addressed in these presentations to whatever you're seeing in your daily life as a coach. If this sounds like the right thing for you and your staff, go ahead and hop over to cvasps.com/community and try it out for 48 hours for just $1. If you like it, you're signed up, ready to roll, and you're jumping into all the great content added each month. If not, feel free to go ahead and cancel at any time. No questions asked. We're really excited about what we're building in the community and hope you are too. Go ahead and hop over to cvasps.com/community and check it out today. Today's My Thoughts Monday is brought to you by GymAware, the leading tool when measuring performance in the weight room. Guys, VBT is all the craze right now. It's a hot, sexy topic, although it's something that's been around for a while. And the man who wrote the book on velocity-based training, Brian Mann, has called the GymAware the Rolls-Royce when it comes to velocity measuring devices. Guys, the ability for you to shoot all your information right up into the cloud and store it right away is enough for me right there to make sure that this is something that I had in my weight room. Putting things together with instant feedback as to how the reps are being performed. On top of that, with the x-axis correction, so you don't have to necessarily worry about direct positioning when you're performing the exercises. Tying that in with the visualization of everything and the ability to allow the athletes to compete make this an absolutely stellar tool and something I couldn't recommend you having in your weight room enough. Hop on over to kinetic.com.au today and see everything that they have to offer.
All right, so Jay DeMayo asked me to do this week's rant and say any topic I want. So my rant's going to be on culture. Last month I went down to the NSCA Coaches Conference. If you've never been, great conference, highly recommend it. Ton of good information, a lot of good people. One topic that was discussed there that I think I kind of want to speak up, but I didn't want to be insulting to anyone, even though I think it's important to kind of touch on this, is everyone was talking about culture. We had a round table about culture. And it's such a buzzword right now. And you know what? I think it's BS. And this is what I mean when I say it's BS. Everyone talks about what culture is set to win championships. And here's the reality of it. The best athletes tend to win championships. I'm not saying you shouldn't be trying to do things right with your athletes and improve your athletes as humans, as athletes, as people, in every aspect of their lives. But understand that everyone's culture is going to be a little bit messed up. There's something wrong everywhere. It's just like with programming. I remember Buddy Moore saying it years ago. There is no perfect program. If there was a perfect program, we'd all do the perfect program. And that's all we do. We'd take the program. Scott Cochran wins a lot at Alabama. I guess that's a perfect program. We take that and implement it everywhere. But that doesn't work for you. So your culture is going to have strengths and weaknesses just like my culture is going to have strengths and weaknesses. And everyone's trying to reinvent culture. And you can't listen, you have weaknesses. I have weaknesses. But what we need to do is find our strengths, make them as strong as possible, and while still addressing our weaknesses. And know that quite often, once we get in that, we got our culture the way we want it, our strength is going to become now our weakness in many levels. Stay with me on that one. What I mean is that so often we make a strength so strong, and we do this well, we do this well, we do this well, that we almost over-perpetuate what we're doing well, that it becomes, everyone just gets used to that. And it's kind of like, well, that's what Hammer does. And then it becomes almost an afterthought, almost a little white noise. So look at what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses within your own culture, because at the end of the day, all of us have something wrong in our culture, something right in our culture, and something kind of in between in our culture. It's funny, after that talk, I was talking with some of my strength coach friends over a beer, and it was those honest moments, and I was talking to people who've won national championships, and I said, how's your culture? And they're like, and this is the honest moments over a beer. That one national championship team, we had some, a couple kids that weren't good kids, or we had this athlete over here who wasn't a hardworking athlete but happened to be the captain of the team, and we had this athlete, and being honest about the fact that maybe it's not a perfect culture. So you're working in with what you got. And remember, as strength coaches, we don't choose who we work with. We're handed people. So here are the athletes I've recruited. I'm the head coach. I've recruited athlete A, B, C, and D. Now go train them. And when they come in, you know nothing about them. You say, well, here's our culture that we've set. Well, if you're not meeting those athletes where they are, it doesn't matter what your culture is, because they're not going to buy in immediately when they walk in the door. And you say, well, my seniors set the culture, and that's the way it rolls. I've learned this the hard way. When you lean on those seniors, and I've made a mistake. I'll give you a perfect example. Women's basketball a few years back. We had a phenomenal senior class, 4 girls. I actually, first time ever, I gave the Strength and Conditioning Award to a senior class, all 4 girls. And I was sitting there with one of my associatees next year, and I said, man, I made a mistake. He said, what's that? I said, I could lean on them so much to do what was right. In other words, if we needed something done in a weight room or something people didn't want to do, I'd get excited and say, I get those 4 on board, the rest will follow suit, because they're the leaders. And I realized I screwed up. I had built this culture, built my strength into a weakness, where those seniors were so on board with what we were doing that I didn't neglect the younger girls, but I wasn't preparing them to take over. So while my culture was seniors going to lead the way, the weakness of that culture was that maybe I wasn't giving enough to the juniors and sophomores. Now I got real lucky. Luckily, the juniors the following year having to buy in immediately, not because I had built that culture, but because they were good young ladies. If I didn't have good young ladies who listened, who did the right thing, who followed through, then we would have been dead in the water, and I would have fought uphill battle with that team all year. But I got extremely lucky. I had young ladies who were excited, who wanted to come in, who wanted to get better, and they just followed suit in that. But it was a huge mistake. And I remember sitting there with my associate athletic director saying, I got so lucky because I leaned on these kids, again, not neglecting these kids, but didn't realize the importance of those underclassmen. So when you look at your culture, when you look at, are we building culture, are we growing culture, say to yourself, one, no one defines it, what is it? 2, what are your weaknesses when you're in your culture? And if your answer is, I have none, then either you're full crap or you have a terrible culture, because we all have weaknesses within ours. I just gave you a perfect example of one of ours. Another weakness within ours is I tend to be a high intent, I don't say high intense, but a very go coach. And at times I need to take a second, step back, slow things down. And luckily I have people around me. There's some interns, some staff members will come and be like, Hammer, you're full crap right now. Slow down. Because we didn't explain clearly what we did. Because I wanted work. And while we were worried about work, I wasn't explaining exactly what we wanted. We got a new head football coach this year, and within 2 weeks, we had a minor glitch in our system where we failed to do something that we needed to do. And it was a minor glitch. And he called me and said, that cannot happen. I said, yes, sir, coach. That will not happen again. I just talked to one of my assistants about it. And I was like, you were the guy that did it, but it was my fault for not explaining clearly enough to you what exactly we needed to do. And I said, that's not going to happen again because you're smarter than that. He's better than that. But the culture failed from top to bottom. I failed him. He failed by not having my back. So we just all screwed it up. So understand that, your culture is going to be screwed up, and that's okay. As long as you're improving that culture, as long as you're improving the people around you, don't worry about calling it culture. Don't worry about, is it exactly where it needs to be? Because some schools, they're going to have student athletes who don't have to change their own weights. Why? Because they have 87 interns. I have an intern right now from Florida, and I'm going to get on her. Today we were hooking up all the bands and chains for squats, and she said, we didn't have to do this at Florida. And I said 2 things. 1, that's because Matt Delancey got you guys lazy. Hopefully you listen to that, Matt. 2, he probably didn't, but I had to sneak it in there. 2, this is a much smaller school without the resources that the University of Florida has. So what are we going to do? We're going to improvise, adapt, and overcome. And again, there are going to be weaknesses within doing that. Part of the weakness is going to be sometimes we're going to get a little chaotic and we need to slow it back down and figure out how we're doing things. Look at it the right way. You can read all the books on world and culture you want, but at the end of the day, if all you're doing every day is not just trying to make the student athlete better, as an athlete, as a human, as a student, and whatever it is, then don't worry about all the other the culture. Is it perfect culture? Because it's not going to be perfect. And final thing on culture is this: it doesn't matter if the head coach isn't on board. You may have teams that say, I had a team one time, the coach didn't care if student athletes were on time, and the coach didn't care if they had misses. The coach didn't care if the student athlete missed a lift. So as a strength coach, I struggled mightily with that. I failed. I broke down many times where I said, I can't do this. My head wants to explode when someone's late. But that was what the head coach had set as the standard for that team. So understand that we are never in charge of culture. We are just carrying forward the culture or the ideas of the people above us, the head coaches, the administrators, the president of your university. Right now we have a president that's very involved in athletics, and I better know what he's saying so I can kind of mimic his vision to help build what he wants, because I'm not in charge. And at the end of the day, sooner or later, maybe 20 years from now, maybe 20 minutes from now, they're going to hire a new strength coach here, and he's going to come in here and say, this culture's screwed up, I need to change it, and put in what he or she wants going on. So remember that you're not perfect, I'm not perfect. Just try to be a little better with what you're doing every day.